And the mother and daughter pleaded guilty to a horrible crime, killing a 19-year-old woman and then taking her baby from her body.
The caller gave birth 10 minutes ago, 46 years of age. The baby isn't breathing. The baby is pale and blue. They're doing CPR.
How far would you go for your mother's love? Would you help them live out their most twisted and dark fantasies? This story is straight out of a nightmare, and how grief and jealousy led to one of the most shocking murder and kidnapping cases ever. This is TrapDoor Crime, and let's dive into the mom who strangled a pregnant teen and cut out her baby. On November 16, 1999, Marlon Ochoa was born as the beloved daughter of Raquel and Arnulfo Ochoa. Seeking a brighter future, her family moved from Mexico to Chicago during her early years. Marlon embodied beauty and joy, always smiling and brimming with big dreams. A social butterfly, she aspired to go to college and become a singer or fashion designer. She was excelling in school to make her ambitions a reality. At just 15, Marlon fell head over heels for Giovanni Lopez. Their romance blossomed, and a year later, she found out she was pregnant. In 2016, she gave birth to their son, Joshua, and the couple tied the knot the following year. This young love would change the course of her life forever. Even as a young mother, Marlon remained on track with her goals. She returned to school, balancing her studies with raising Joshua. Everything was going perfectly. By 2018, she was juggling motherhood and education when she got some unexpected news. She was expecting her second child. This is where things started getting tricky for young Marlon. She knew balancing school and 2 kids would be tough, so she joined a Facebook group called Help a Sister Out, where moms-to-be supported each other. On March 5th, 2019, Marlon posted on the group, "Hello ladies, I'm due May 10th and I still need a ton of things for my son. Due to the fact that I'm in school and can't work at the moment, I can't afford to buy the rest of the things since I'm short on cash right now." A 46-year-old lady named Clarissa Figueroa replied to the post, offering brand new baby clothes to the young expectant mother. Marlon was deeply touched by Clarissa's generosity, and they began chatting and even forming a kinship. Clarissa already had 2 adult children, Desiree, 24, and Xandar, 20. Sadly, Xandar passed away from natural causes in early 2018, leaving Clarissa beyond heartbroken. However, a few months before Marlon joined the group, Clarissa announced her unexpected pregnancy in October 2018. Despite having her tubes tied, she was ecstatic. She shared these ultrasound pictures and images of the baby's room on Facebook. One post featured a crib with letters spelling Xander on the wall above it. Another showed a nursery mural with the name Xander prominently displayed. It seems she was more happy to have a reincarnation of her past son more than anything else. Finally finished the baby section, so all we need to do is wait for his arrival. A friend who saw the post questioned how Clarissa could be pregnant after having her fallopian tubes tied. Clarissa explained that she had them untied during an emergency appendix surgery and that her baby was due in May. During this time, Clarissa joined the Help a Sister Out group and posted, "Who is due in May? Where is the May mamas at?" After one woman responded, "Right here," she replied, "I don't feel lonely anymore. Yay." Through this group, Clarissa and Marlon continued chatting. Clarissa invited Marlon to her home on April 1st to pick up the baby items Marlon was struggling to afford. Marlon was touched and could not expect the nightmare she was about to step into. Clarissa's twisted fantasy. In the days leading up to Marlon's visit, Clarissa had a chilling conversation with her daughter, Desiree. She asked if she'd help her kill a pregnant woman and steal her baby. Absolutely horrified by her mom, Desiree refused and told her boyfriend Piotr Bobak, who threatened to call the police. Clarissa dismissed it as a joke when confronted. When Marlon arrived at Clarissa's house, she was met by Clarissa, Desiree, and Desiree's boyfriend Piotr. The boyfriend later recalled noticing how nervous and strange Clarissa and Desiree were acting around Marlon, frequently leaving the room to talk privately. He pulled Desiree aside, reiterating his threat to call the cops if they harmed the girl. Desiree reassured him that it was just an April Fool's joke and nothing would happen. Marlon, oblivious to the tense situation, took the baby items and left. On April 23, 2019, while Marlon was at school, she received a message from Clarissa offering more baby clothes and a stroller. Marlon agreed to stop by later that afternoon before picking up her son from daycare. Around 3 p.m., an 8-month pregnant Marlon was last seen leaving school and driving to Clarissa's house. She would never be seen alive again. As the day progressed, Marlon's husband, Giovanni, grew increasingly worried when their son's daycare called, saying Marlon hadn't picked him up. This was completely out of character for Marlon. Giovanni began frantically calling family and friends, but no one had seen or heard from her. The family initially speculated that Marlon might have gone into early labor and been rushed to the hospital, preventing her from contacting them. They called every hospital in the area, but found no information about her. As time passed without any word from Marlon, their concern deepened. They feared the worst. Had she been kidnapped, in an accident, or worse, harmed by someone? The thought of something happening to a vulnerable pregnant woman was unbearable to them. In a press conference, Marlon's mother, Raquel, expressed her anguish. She is a very responsible lady. She's not a person who just disappears and leaves home. I cannot believe that she would leave, pregnant, and abandon her other son. There's something wrong here, something bad. As per usual, suspicion initially fell on the spouse. Marlon's family members began to consider the possibility that Giovanni might have harmed their daughter. Was he stressed about having to provide for another child? Did he want the responsibilities to end so he could focus on being a teen boy? Giovanni was deeply wounded by these accusations because he knew he would never harm Marlon. In an emotional interview, Giovanni broke down in tears, expressing how devastated he was that his in-laws suspected him of wrongdoing. They were all against me. I knew that I had not done anything with my wife. It was terrible, really terrible. I felt overwhelmed because my in-laws, all these people, said that I looked like a bad person. I felt defeated and heartbroken because I could not find my wife. I could not find her. That same evening, Giovanni went to the police to report his wife missing. Instead of assisting him, the police subjected him to a polygraph test to verify his innocence regarding any harm to his wife. They also informed him that they couldn't initiate an investigation until 72 hours had passed. 2 days later, Giovanni returned to file a missing persons report, but he felt the police still didn't take him seriously. Frustrated, the family hired a private investigator who quickly discovered Marlon had been communicating with Clarissa before disappearing. All their interactions were on Facebook, where Marlon had planned to visit Clarissa's home after school. The investigator shared this information with the police. When they arrived at Clarissa's house, they found Desiree, who claimed her mother was hospitalized for leg issues and had also just given birth. However, detectives became suspicious when they discovered Marlon's car parked nearby. So, they went to the hospital to speak with Clarissa. They didn't tell her they knew where Marlon's car was. Clarissa went on to deny ever meeting Marlon again and that they met only once to give her some baby clothes. This raised red flags, prompting detectives to subpoena hospital records and collect DNA from the baby and Clarissa. Their digging led them to the most shocking conclusion. DNA results revealed Clarissa wasn't the baby's mother. They then made Giovanni hand in samples and it was confirmed that he was the father. Immediately, a search warrant was issued for Clarissa's house. Detectives found bleach, cleaning supplies, burned clothes, and red stains in the living room, hallway, and bathroom. Eventually, they discovered Marlon's decomposing pregnant body hidden in a trash can in the backyard. There were marks all over her neck. Along her was the cable used to strangle her. But how and why did this happen? Desiree admitted to assisting her mother in killing the pregnant teenager. She described how, on the day Marlon visited their home, she engaged her with a photo album on the couch, while Clarissa approached from behind and used the fatal cable on her. Despite Marlon managing to place her fingers between her neck and the cable, Desiree intervened to prevent her from breaking free.
At that point, defendant Clarissa told defendant Desiree, quote, "You're not doing your job," end quote. Defendant Desiree then stepped up and began to peel the victim's fingers from the cable one by one.
Clarissa persisted in pulling the cable for approximately 4 to 5 minutes until Marlon's body went limp. Afterwards, she used a knife to perform a crude cesarean section, extracting the baby from Marlon's womb. Clarissa then disposed of Marlon's body in a trash can. Subsequently, she called 911 to report that she had just given birth and that the baby was not breathing.
The caller gave birth 10 minutes ago, 46 years of age. The baby isn't breathing. The baby is pale and blue. They're doing CPR.
Paramedics and firefighters arrived promptly, but they remained outside the house because Clarissa was already waiting for them outdoors with the baby. Both Clarissa and the baby were swiftly transported to the hospital, where medical staff noticed that Clarissa exhibited no physical signs of recent childbirth. However, doctors did not question it further. They were busy focusing on the asphyxia complications the baby was facing. Over the following weeks, Clarissa continued to masquerade as the baby's mother, even launching a GoFundMe campaign to raise $9,000 for what she claimed were the child's medical expenses, asserting that the boy was gravely ill and unlikely to survive. Desiree's 40-year-old boyfriend, Piotr Bobak, who allegedly assisted in concealing the crime, also shared the GoFundMe link on his Facebook page. Giovanni and Marlon's family were utterly devastated upon discovering the tragic fate that had befallen Marlon.
Giovanni Lopez couldn't hold back his anger or grief.
Vamos a tener justicia con esa persona.
He says he can't believe this is real and wants those responsible caught and punished. Marlon's mother also calling for justice.
Pues sí, que por favor le hagan justicia a uno, no porque uno sea inmigrante, ilegal.
She continued saying just because you're an undocumented immigrant doesn't mean you don't deserve to be heard. She says we are human beings too.
After enduring the loss of Marlon, her family faced further anguish upon learning that baby Yadiel, whom they named according to Marlon's wishes, was in critical condition. Despite their prayers and hopes for his recovery, Yadiel tragically passed away a few months later. It's disgusting how Clarissa wanted her Xander back and would be willing to kill another child just for that chance. On May 15, 2019, Clarissa Figueroa and her daughter Desiree were arrested and faced charges including first-degree homicide, kidnapping, and aggravated assault. Desiree's boyfriend, Piotr Bobak, was also charged with concealing a homicide. Despite the overwhelming evidence against them, all three individuals pleaded not guilty and were held without bond as they awaited trial. In recent developments as of April 2024, after over 5 years of waiting, justice has finally been served. Clarissa Figueroa finally accepted an agreement to plead guilty to first-degree murder and will serve a 50-year sentence. Desiree Figueroa pleaded guilty to murder in January 2024 and agreed to testify against her mother in exchange for a 30-year sentence. As for Piotr, he only received 4 years for cleaning up the crime scene.
Today, justice was served for Marlene and baby Yadiel Lopez. He says that he got justice for his wife today, but that he walks out of that courtroom without his family.
Despite the anguish, the family are doing all they can to make sure no one else suffers the same fate. Despite this, nothing will bring back Marlon and baby Yadiel. Do you guys think this sentence was fair? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. For more crime stories, please like and subscribe to TrapDoor Crime.